Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. I'm sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. We have a few people being restricted on our YouTube. So if you or your neighbor can hear this and you know someone who is being restricted, please have them sign into YouTube in the portal, or go to the portal, click on the YouTube tile, and then go ahead and join our chat. You may have to control and hit the refresh on your browser, and that should hopefully allow you in. And then you will be able to partake in the webinar, or partake is probably not the right word, participate in the webinar. So hopefully you're all here and you can hear me. In the bottom right corner, if you wiggle your mouse, you're going to see where it says YouTube. If you click on the YouTube button on the right side, it will take you to the YouTube screen, where on the right panel will be the chat window. So if you have any issues, please go ahead and do that. Also, when you do that and you go to YouTube and you're on that right panel, if you put your mouse over it, there's a settings gear. And if you make your settings gear go from auto 360 to 720, that will make it so it is not blurry and you will be able to see the presentation much more clearly. So hopefully that helps. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Please make sure you sign in. If you're on the weekly webinars website, just above and below the embedded video, you're going to see that sign in page. I'm actually going to copy that sign in URL for you. And I'm going to go to the chat window and paste it in that link for you, because I know some of you are already on that YouTube chat page. And that way you will have that URL to sign in as well. So here I come. Hey, Dan, sorry about a little bit delayed beginning. I see that you were waiting, so thank you for joining us again this week. Okay, here we go. So again, if you change on your settings gear, the quality from 240 to 720, it will look a lot better for you. This week, we are going to have a lesson on Google Classroom. So hopefully that's what you're here for. So good afternoon. My name is Melissa Matthews. I am here today with the beautiful Tasha Burke-Peart and Jessica Falco. They are both new to the Department of Educational Technology, and they are very excited to be here. You should see their cute little smiles. So hopefully they'll start leading some of these weekly webinars as well. But for the meantime, you got me. So again, we're the Department of Ed Tech, and we teach teachers technology. So if you go to palmbeachschools.org/edtech, you will see under Classroom Technology Support all of the different software packages, or not software packages, but programs that we support. This is an old picture, so some things have changed, but all sorts of information on how to sign in, how to use the program, etc., are all offered right there. So please feel free to explore on your own time and learn some new exciting skills to use in your classroom. So first things first, how in the world do we get to Google Classroom? So classroom.google.com always works. So it's whatever the program you're looking for is, .google.com. So docs.google.com, sheets.google.com, etc. If you're in the portal, there is a tile. So you can always type in Classroom and Google Classroom tile will pop up. Also, if you're on any Google page, you will have the app selector. A lot of people call the app selector the Rubik's Cube. They call it the Brady Bunch. They call it the Waffle Iron. They have all sorts of names for it. So Google calls it the app selector. And under the app selector, you will also find that beautiful little icon for Google Classroom. Know that is movable. So you can move that icon wherever you want in here, and they will move and adjust for you, which a lot of people didn't know. So hopefully if you didn't know that, you do now. Okay, so what in the world is Google Classroom? It's an organizational tool for running your classroom. It keeps track of all of your assignments, all of your documents, your calendar, your due dates, everything. It's a great way for your students and your community to become more conversational. So you assign a homework assignment. Jessica's at home. She's stuck on number 3. She can go ahead and start a post that says, hey, doing the math homework, stuck on number 3. Any idea how to do this? All of the boys and girls will then get an email. They will then be able to respond to Jessica and let her know, oh, you just have to do X, Y, and Z to solve that problem. This takes a lot of the teaching away from the teacher and allows the students to co-teach one another and communicate effectively in an online social media site. Not only does it allow that communication to happen, but it stores all of your files beautifully in Google Drive. So it'll be the name of the classroom, the name of the assignment, and then all of those documents, if you give each student a copy, will be their name dash the name of the assignment. So it's really super easy to find, and it's a great way to go paperless. You do no longer have to spend hours in front of the copier machine or spending all that money on paper. You can go completely paperless. So it's a great way to utilize Google Classroom. Security. Security is a huge piece. So know that this is a closed environment, which means unless you have the class code or the teacher specifically invites you, you cannot get in. The teacher has full management control. That means that if Tasha joins my classroom, but she's not one of my students, I can get rid of her and have her leave. If Jessica says something that she's not supposed to say, I can delete her comment. Her comment will be there for 30 days, so I can then screenshot it later and have that parent-teacher conference. I can mute her. I can make it so that she can no longer be a part of that conversation. And I can also take that away from everyone as an entire group lesson. So that is super important. I can also directly students cannot directly message one another. So unless it's written on the post in the classroom wall, students can't private message one another. So no bullying or anything like that can take effect. Digital citizenship. Before your students get in Google Classroom, you need to clearly define what is expected of them. So basically, whatever rules and guidelines you have set up in your classroom physically should remain the same online. So if someone curses in your classroom and the penalty is, no recess, the same penalty should happen if they curse online, did I say the right thing? Online versus in the classroom. So I think you understand that. So make sure that you keep that separate. Also, password security. So we know that our password is the last 4 digits of our student number, capital first initial, capital last initial, and the last 2 digits of the year you were born. I also know that every student email address is their student number. So if I wanted Jessica's credentials, all I have to do is look at her email, get the last 4 of her number. I know her name's Jessica Falco, so it's capital J, capital F, and she's in my class. So she's born probably the same year as me, give or take 1. So I can guess her password super easily. So I want to make sure that everyone changes their password as soon as they get it. So when they walk into my classroom, one of the very first things they do after they sign on that machine is changing their password. And that way I can't have people changing or stealing another's identity. I'm completely safe. And unfortunately, I know it's only October 2, but we have had that happen already this year, which is sad. So please make sure you change those passwords. It is required in the secondary groups. It is not required in elementary, but I strongly advise you to go ahead and do that. Okay, so your turn. In the chat window, tell me, what rules do you have in place to protect your classroom online? And I'm going to give you just a minute to type those in. I do know that we have a few second delay, so it probably will take you a couple minutes to get to that chat window. If you are watching us in the weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org, if you scroll your mouse on top of the bottom right corner, you're going to see the words YouTube. If you click on those words YouTube, and it will take you to the YouTube browser window. And then on the right side panel, you will see the chat window. So if you're not there yet, go ahead and click those few steps, and then the chat window should appear. And Melanie wrote, do not give your personal ID information or password to anyone. Perfect. That is a great policy to have in place. You definitely do not want to share those credentials with anyone. So I know there's other people trying to find this, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep on going. I like that, Jessica. Always sign out of your account. So when you're done with that computer, make sure you go ahead and sign out so that other people, if you leave your computer open, especially teachers, while you're going to the restroom or to lunch or recess or wherever it is that you go, you are leaving your entire Google portfolio open to be hacked, if you will. So you never want someone to message the wrong person on your behalf or say inappropriate things on your behalf, etc. So you always want to lock your computer. Computers face out in order for their content to be viewed by me so that I know what they're on at all times. Good, Catalina. I like that. I also, if you're using our Chromebooks that are the 360, I've also seen a lot of teachers do the 1, 2, 3 flip, and they say it that fast. So as their kids are all working and they're all, oftentimes the back of their computer is facing the teacher, you say 1, 2, 3 flip. The computer actually flips the screen around, or the kids can flip the computer screen around, and then you can see. Also, Control H is your friend. Control H will show you the entire history of what websites your students have been on. So if they say, no, I wasn't on this site, you can Control H and see exactly what they've been to. Make sure to lock your screen whenever you leave your computer to use the restroom, etc. Good, Erica. That's exactly correct. Moving on. We're going to go live. We're going to check it out. So a lot of you have seen Google Classroom before. They have done a huge revamp over the summer. So we're going to go through what that looks like. So again, I hit my app selector, and again, see how these are movable. So I'm going to go ahead and click Google Classroom and take you right on over there. It's going to take just a second to load. So as it loads, the top bar, you can see that plus sign. So that's how I either add or join a class. So if I hit that plus sign, I can create a class. And you're going to see how it's just a tad bit different. We do have a room number now in addition to section and subject. Note that the only thing required is the class name. So we're going to call this Weekly Webinar PM because it's our afternoon session. And I'm going to go ahead and click create. That is going to take just a couple minutes because it is creating a classroom calendar specific to this class. It's also creating a folder in Google Drive specific to this class. So it is doing a couple things in the background. It's choosing a theme. It's choosing some colors. It's doing a lot of the creation piece for you. Had I said it was a science class, it probably would have chosen a science picture compared to a math class, etc. So it does try to fit the theme with your name. So in here, you can see already it's different. We have a stream, a classwork tab, and a people tab. So under my stream, this is where you would make announcements. So I could say, here is the slide deck. And I can go straight to my Google Drive. And hopefully the recent will pop up and it should show me my Google Classroom slide deck webinar. So I can add that. And so I can post that to all of my participants. Note that I can choose which class or classes I would like to share that with. So that's nice. If I have period 1, 3, and 5 that are all doing the same thing, I can select all 3 and make it go out all at one time. Or if I want to give enrichment activities for specific students, if I choose one class and one class only, I can choose specific students to share it with, which is also nice. So now I can post automatically where it would go instantaneously, or I could schedule it. I don't know about you, but I did all of my planning on Thursday afternoon for the following week. So I would schedule when I would want my assignments to go out to my students and be released. Or if I wasn't 100% sure, I would make them and save them as a draft. If I saved it as a draft, you're going to see it's going to pop up here at the top, saved announcements. And all I do is click on it and say post, and it'll go immediately. So your stream may have to be refreshed. Oh, you're not in here yet. Let me show you how to join me if you'd like. So 2 ways. We could either hit about or we could hit the cog. So about is going to show us just the code. And if I click that, it's going to make the code rather large. I could also click that and it gets even bigger. So I'm going to copy this code and paste it into the chat window in case you would like to join me. And I'm going to escape out of here. And I'm going to show you that also in the cog or the settings gear, you can see here's my code again. Now I can do the same display like we just saw where it gets bigger and bigger. I can copy it so I can paste it other places or send it out via email or what have you. I can reset it. Now that reset tool is kind of nice because these are 6 random letters and numbers. And I think this is actually 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Normally it's 6. However, they're random, which means on occasion, it could spell something that you don't really want to say out loud. So please, oh, please go ahead and reset it if and when it does that. Also, you can disable it. I've had teachers create like puzzles, if you will, or scientific experiments or, you know, something out of the box exciting for your students. And a whole bunch of other students catch wind of it and want to join in. And so all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people that you're not teaching are in your Google Classroom because they want to participate in the game. So there is a way to lock it down. I think that's a great problem to have, right? So there is a way to disable it so that other people that you do not teach do not have to be in your classroom. Know that you can also get rid of them also. Remember I said you could delete items and then see them later. You can turn that on and off here. You can also send Guardian summaries. That's the on-off toggle. And a Guardian summary is basically going to show, it's going to send one parent emails weekly all by itself for every class that that child is enrolled in. So it's going to show student work missing from last week. So here's US history, here's English language arts or English American lit. Here's due next week for US history and marine bio. And then here's activity from each of the classes that the child is enrolled in. In the settings gear, the parent can edit it so that if their email changes, they can change their email. They can also change the frequency in which these emails are being sent. If they want it weekly compared to, or daily compared to weekly, that is an option. And if they no longer want them, they can always unsubscribe. So that is a nice feature as well. And it's no work on your part other than turning that flip on, which is nice. Okay, so that is the settings and the About tab. So if we go into classwork, this is where all the magic happens. So in here, you are going to be able to create assignments and questions, use topics to organize your modules and units, and you can reorder where all of your assignments are. So if I create a question, I can ask, what is the most used Google pool in Palm Beach. Okay, so let's do multiple choice this time. And let's say drive, classroom, of course, mail, and calendar. And if you were on this morning, please don't share the answers. And I'm going to go ahead and ask right away. Know that there's that due date there. I did it quick. Let me open that back up. I'm going to edit. Know there's a due date you can add in. And there's also, you can add topics. So I could make this Google products. I can add that topic so I can have it organized a little bit better for myself. So one person's already chosen drive. I only have 3 people in here. I have 28 watching though. So if you'd like to join in, if you look on that chat window, you're going to see the code. I'm going to make it bigger again for you if you'd like to join in just for a few minutes or so. That way, if you'd like to join me, you're welcome to. And we're going to go back. And I know also there's that delay, so it's going to take a second for you guys to get back to where we are, which is fine. So I have one person voted drive, and I have classroom, mail, and calendar also as options. If I click view question, it's going to show me who. So Jessica is the one that thinks drive is the most popular. Erica just chose mail, so I could click on her and it would show me what she chose. I can also give grades if I want to, and I can even write private messages down here to each person. I'm going to go back to all students. And so far we have 2 for mail and 1 for drive. I do not have the chart with me. Oh, 3 for mail, 1 for drive. Ooh, even more. More people are joining, which is awesome. So the correct answer is actually classroom, because if you think about it, we have all those Trailblazer teachers now that are actively using Classroom. We have a lot of teachers that are not Trailblazers that are using Classroom. And we have all the students in all of those teachers' classrooms using Classroom. So Classroom by far has exceeded everything else. The second highest is Google Drive. Google Drive is close because if you think about it, every time every student does an assignment, they've created a document or they've created something in Drive. So it's driving the usage up for Google Drive quite a bit. But Google Classroom by far exceeds everything else, which is kind of cool. Going back. Oop. So let's go to classwork. I know we have 5 minutes left, so we'll go a little faster. So if I click on create, I'm going to make you all an assignment. And Cami, if you were wondering what that is a way to use your finger to actually draw on your screen, on your touch screen Google Chromebook, that will allow you to write all over the screen to answer math problems or science problems or draw a picture or whatever it is you need. So Cami is a pretty cool thing. So we're going to do homework number 1 of the year. Now I labeled it this way because this way in Google Drive, it will sequentially number my assignments for me, and it will all be in order so that when I go to look for it later, I can find it easily. If I do more than 999 assignments for the year, I'm a really mean teacher. So that should get me through. So I would assume we do probably more than 100, but if I do close to 1,000, I think we may get voted bad teacher of the year. So let's not do that. And we're going to do weekly webinar homework. And so on here, I could write instructions if I'd like to. I can change my point value. I'm going to make it due tomorrow. It's automatically $11.59 unless I change it. And I'm going to make it under Google Products. And I'm going to add, notice, excuse me, that I could add any kind of attachment. So PowerPoint, Word doc, PDF, anything you'd like. Those will not be editable though. If I stick with a Google Doc or Drive, it will be editable. So I encourage you to stick with the Google platform. This is a YouTube and this is a hyperlink to a website. So if I click that Google Drive icon, I can go and find, it's actually my recent, or it should be, weekly webinar homework, and I'm going to add that in. And I'm going to make it so that everyone gets their own copy. Now, I do not have to go to the copier machine. I don't need a sheet of paper. All my kids need a computer. They can rotate on the back if they don't have a full class set, and that's it. And again, I can schedule that. I can save it as a draft, or I can assign it right away. So it's assigning it for me. And voila, I'm done. Now, remember when we created this class, we talked about how there was a calendar and that there was a folder. So this is my Google Classroom folder. And if I go there, you're going to see that I already have the weekly webinar PM folder made, which is the name of my class. So here it is. There's my weekly webinar under Classroom class. Here's my first homework assignment. Here's my templates. And my first homework assignment, you're going to see that all the people enrolled already have one sitting there waiting for them. Some of them have 3. I don't know why. They shouldn't. Just ignore that. You didn't see that. I don't know why there's more than 1. Normally there's 1 per kid. So something got goofy, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll fix itself. And it's just a test anyway, so we're fine. So there's your homework assignment. And again, when I'm viewing my assignment, I can see everybody's papers in a small little thing. If I wanted to click on one, it would open it up for me, and check this out. This is new. This is so cool. Ready? So over on the right, I can give grades. I can add private comments. But look, I want to go to the next person. I can just click my little arrow over and go to the next one, or I can do my drop down and jump to whoever I'd like to. So before, you had to go back to Classroom and back to that person and back and forth, and it was a bit of a pain. You don't have to do that anymore. You can go ahead and just go on to the next one, which is pretty cool. Makes it much faster. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. You do not have to do this, but you're welcome to. This is just for demonstration purposes, so you don't actually have to do it and turn it in. I had one lady from another class say, what do I do for this assignment? So don't worry about actually doing it. It's just for fun. Again, we went through the people page to show you. This is where you would invite guardians. If their parents' emails are not already there, you're welcome to add them for that summary, the weekly summary. And they can have as many as they'd like there. So mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, stepdad, stepmom, anyone you want, they can all be on there. And I know it's 3:30, so that pretty much wraps all of that up. Let's go back to our presentation real quick so that you all know what the homework is. Come on, here we go. It's a little slow today. Okay. It's loading. Okay, so in the chat window, while I tell you about your homework, please tell me what you think is the best part about Google Classroom and how you're going to use it in your classroom this year, hopefully. So how else can I be trained? We love, love, love coming to your schools. So please invite us. We can come during your PLCs. We can come during your planning time. We can come for staff meetings, for PD days, for all sorts of things. So please invite us in. On ELM, you will find that there is a Google Fundamentals class where you can go ahead and get Google certified. That is one of the requirements for being a trailblazer. So if you are not a trailblazer and would like to be a trailblazer, I would suggest getting your Google certification so that you're already ready to do that. Also, just like we shared in the beginning with the ELM site or the EdTech site, the Palm Beach Schools /EdTech, palmbeachschools.org/EdTech. Sorry, I will write that for you in the chat window. You will find the Google for Education link, and in there, there's a whole bunch of ways to access additional training. There you go. And your homework. What do you need to do for points? So it's 2 points per class per week. I know, Dan, it's kind of buffering on my end as well. So hopefully you're catching most of it. Nikki, I'd love for you to save paper by using Google Classroom. I agree. Okay, so for homework, this year we have one homework ELM spot. So if you sign up for the weekly webinars in ELM, it's one class for the entire semester through December 21st. So you'll have one survey instead of one a week. You'll have one box for homework or for attendance, where I will give you 2 points per week, or actually a point per week for every week you attend if you do the homework as well for that week. So if you do the homework, which is uploading proof of implementation. So for this, you would need to create a Google Classroom that's new, and that will allow me to, to see that you have utilized Google Classroom. I will know if it's new or old, so please make sure it's a new Google Classroom that you've made, and make sure you are signed in to that Google form so that I can mark you there. I know that you're cutting in and out. Hopefully it's buffering in a way where you're catching what I'm saying. And I'm hoping even more that it's recording correctly. And it will always be up. It's buffering again, I can see. It will always be up for you to watch later. So that's your homework. And I apologize for them being white. However, look, they're yellow here. See, they're so cute. And they were in a line at one point. But please help me spread the word to at least 2 friends. So that way we get more and more people joining us on our weekly webinars. And that's all for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you join me again next week for Google Drive. I have 2 now in the lab. 2 what? 2 Google Classrooms in a lab? I'm confused. Yes, all of the webinars are recorded, and you can get there if you go to, let's see here, weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org. And right here, you'll see available, all webinars are recorded and available for FY19. So all you have to do is click this link here, and it'll take you to all the recordings, including the one from today.
Daniel has 2 friends in the lab.
Oh, good. Thank you, Daniel. That's awesome. Yay. I don't know if I have any prizes this year. I'm going to have to see if I have any. If I do, I'll send you out one, Dan. And that's all for today. So any questions, please go ahead and email me or type them in the chat window, and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, have an awesome afternoon, and hopefully I will see you next week for Google Drive. Any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Can you please send an email with the homework since you cut out? If you go to weekly webinars, up at the top, do you see where it says homework and recordings? All of the homework, it says it right here. So I'm going to paste that link. right here for you, Tammy. And that way you can find all that homework. So it's all right here. And there's actually videos, if you look, like how to submit your homework using the snipping tool, how to upload it to ELM. There's everything you could ever want, hopefully, there. And if there's something missing, let me know and I'll add that to it also. Everything but doing it for you, hopefully. Any other questions? Okay, have a wonderful afternoon, guys.